What's going on, everyone? Jimmy Like Hill here, back in, and today we are comparing the port v port of OG Star Fox, which will be represented by the Switch One NSO version for the video, versus the 3DS version of Star Fox 64 3D, as you can see here, represented by 3DS XL here. And then we are going to be showcasing the remake as well, as shown by Star Fox on the Switch 2. Why does the camera not focus? There we go. I like the cartridge on here. It looks cool. Okay, so somehow we got from this giant thing to a smaller thing and then an even smaller thing. So what we're going to look at is like the main differences between them. I'm not going to lie to you. There's not a ton in terms of like gameplay. In terms of visuals, though, that's obviously the biggest difference. And here we go. So the NSO version of Star Fox 64 is a 720p HD emulated version of the original game. So everything I believe about the original game is still here contained as it should be, including the intro and everything like that. It just looks a little bit nicer in HD 720p. And yeah, there you go. I think this originally was mistranslated to be Fortuna. It's supposed to be Fishina. I don't know if they updated this. That's something I should look at. That's something to keep in mind. So this is the world map here. Let me turn the brightness up so it's easy to see. It's exactly how it looks. The music, another thing, is a huge thing, different in every single version. Oh gosh, this is going to be a nightmare, I guarantee you. The stupid rail system on the original Switch, it completely, this thing does not charge anymore because my right rail does not charge, so it's kind of a problem. Anyway, so here's a world map. As with every version, you have Corneria, Meteo, Sector Y, Katina, Fishina, Sector X, Solar, Aquas, Zone S, Sector Z, Macbeth, Titania, Area 6, and you can move it, Bulls, and then Venom 1 and 2, all here. I always loved the way this map looked, and I always absolutely love the music that plays. It's probably my favorite song in the entire game. I know it's crazy, but like when I'm thinking about something on my mind, I just have the Star Fox 64 music playing in my mind. Just like, what should I do here? So that's how that looks, and then we're going to take a look at the 3DS version. So here we're on the 3DS version, we got the splash screen. And then you go into the game. So 3DS version was, I believe, 2011 or 2012 when it was released, and this is like the combination of the two, not like a full-on remake, not just a port. It's I would consider it a remaster, co-developed by Q Games. You have the screen here, then it has 3D, which is cool, and then it has everything that the original game had, except I think Score Attack is a new mode. So in the main game, the multiplayer is also different music, I believe. But main game plays exactly just like the original 64 did. The only difference here is there is a 3DS mode, which for me I feel like it was easier. And it's supposed to use the gyro controls and the circle pad, not that the circle pad just works as a stick. And then this should be technically harder. That's what it seems like for me, the N64 version. I don't know if the enemies do less damage or whatever based on the movement, but yeah, every time I play the 64 difficulty, I feel like this is the hardest way to play the game other than expert mode. But if you had this on expert mode, yeah, it'd be pretty hard. So once again, here we are, all the maps with the amazing music as before, different version of it. Sector Y, it looks really weird. Doesn't seem like I'm moving. Oh, I can. It's hard to see, but it barely looks like a Y here instead of being green. And then we have Sector Z. Well, I guess it's spinning around. Sector X, Fishina, Meteo. You get the idea. All the planets are all here, and they look a bit more glowy and brighter. Let me turn the brightness up on there while I compare it to the other version here. I just realized I wasn't recording. So here's the map. 3DS versus OG. Solar looks more like a star than it does like a sun or a lava blob on here, like a Mario Galaxy planet. Sector X, Y, and Z are far more defined in the N64. They far more look like the actual letters that they're quoted as. There's something I noticed compared to like the Y and the X and the Z, because they kind of spin around. The Z is very easy, but the other two, it's a little harder to tell. And then Titania, the ring around it is straight, but this one's more curved. the 3DS, and then Venom is more of a gassy giant planet, whereas on the 3DS it looks kind of smaller and it doesn't have a bunch of gas around it, and the planet is toxic, so that doesn't really make a ton of sense. But let's take a look at the Switch 2 version. So here we are on the menu of the Switch 2 edition. This menu is far better organized in my opinion. It doesn't have as much... It's a very different look, but I really like the look. There's a lot of extra things here because of multiplayer. You have multiplayers now a 4v4 team instead of 1v1v1, which is a big difference. Battle Royale type of thing. There's amiibo support to extra settings. You can invert your controls and everything. You can't do that in the 64 original and stuff like that. And then challenge mode is also new. It's similar to Score Attack from the 3DS version. And then it lets you select easy or normal. I think this is like 3DS and this is like N64, and then this is just like the OG expert mode. And then you can also split the controls between flying and shooting in local or over game share. I played it with my friend. It was actually pretty cool. And then obviously another big addition is the cutscenes that are really cool. It adds a lot to the story. Stuff like that I already talked about in my review, but you get the idea. Pretty cool overall. And then you have a different little loading screen here. Didn't really have much of a loading screen in the OG version. But we did have a little bit of that in the 3DS, which I'll show you in a second here. Also, the logo is a little bit different. It's hard to see in here, but the feet are like more separated on the Star Fox logo. Okay, so on this version, it jumps straight into it. It doesn't go to the map first. So I'm actually gonna take a look at the map, or we're gonna take a look at Corneria, and then I'll go back to the map later between all the versions. So those cutscenes basically replace these pre-mission briefing that the original and the 3DS version had, where you just kind of have these two screens talking at each other, which makes sense because that's what it was originally supposed to be. And they have the original check your G diffuser system, you know how it goes. So this is going to be hard, but I'm just going to have them all running at the same time. So you got 3DS here. Water looks really good on here. OG, very simple, yet very effective. 64 ages surprisingly well. And then we got the new voice lines on the Switch 2 version here. And it looks absolutely beautiful as you're approaching. Very different from the... Also 60 FPS. Another big difference. 30 FPS on OG. Just a couple of mountains there. The difference here is pretty big. It's a lot more rocky and more defined. 64 obviously is very old. So anything new version of a 64 game like Ocarina when it comes out is going to be very different. So... and also another thing I noticed is original very green and kind of foggy, but the remake, look how dark it gets here. It's crazy looking. And then 3DS is just like the original where it's just mostly green and stuff. But the new one just looks so cool with all the areas and stuff like that. I really, really like what they did with that. So this is going to be impossible to show, but I want to play through the level so we can take a look at the map screen, like I said before. Okay, so I didn't actually have to play through the level. I just had to X out of it. So as you can see, it actually shows it in their Great Fox on the little map they have within the game world, and every time you end the cutscene it transitions this, and it's really cool how it lets you choose between the two paths instead of just having a little menu thing that they don't really mention. It's like very involved in the story how they seamlessly transition. So similar to the 3DS version, Solar isn't really a star, it's more of a blob. However, more similar to the N64, X, Y, and Z are far more defined like the letters again, which looks really cool. I really like how Y looks. And then Meteo, another really big difference here, is you can see that the asteroid belt is actually an asteroid belt surrounding Corneria here. It actually goes all the way up there. Whereas in both the 3DS and the original version, it's just, I mean, it was just supposed to be like an icon that represented it. It didn't have to actually go all the way around, but it's just a cool little detail I noticed. How it's just like a little asteroid belt that's just kind of there, whereas it actually goes around the planet here, and it's mostly here where it's in the way, which is why it's hard. It's on the level when you go through here, but not when you go through here. So that's pretty cool. And then also Venom is more gassy again, unlike the 3DS version. They have that actual effect there on the 64. The Switch or the 3DS just might not have had a thing to do that. So it's more like that in the original. So yeah, there's the three maps for you. They all look very interesting and different in a way, but very cool to take a look at all the differences. Still very similar, all cool in different ways. You saw Corneria there. Looks pretty cool overall. And yeah, that's the main things. Multiplayer's pretty different in the remake compared to the original versions. Not that I think it's actually a lot better and more fun. There could have been a 1v1v1 game mode though, because that's kind of a cool thing that you can do in the original game, having stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, overall, I really like every version of this game. On 3DS, you can do download play or single player with bots. You can do that in the original. It's always nice to have bots to play in multiplayer mode, so you can actually just try it out. And stuff like that. So let me go to the multiplayer in here. Challenge 1 achievements and stuff like that, and get unlocking like collectible or player cards and icons for all that stuff is pretty cool. But yeah, so I'll just show the multiplayer here, why not? So we got 1v1v1, and then we got our team one here on the remake, so it's actually Star Fox versus Star Wolf here, the 4v4. And then you just have the Battle Royale, time trial, and point matches in the original and the 3DS here. And that is mostly it on those things. Because as soon as it's cool how you can choose whatever character you want to, like Wolf. And then you can select the maps. So there's 3 in every version. It's Corneria, Fishina, and Sector Y. In the original and 3DS, it's Macbeth, Medio, and Corneria. So Corneria is always in there. But the original only has Corneria in Sector Z. So this one added Macbeth and Medio. And then this one has Fishina in Sector Y. So they're different in every single version. So I don't know why we couldn't have a Sector Y, Sector Z. I guess because they're similar. Corneria's all the same in all of them. Well, they're different. Corneria in this version is kind of like the 3DS version. And then Macbeth is not. I don't know why we couldn't have Fishina and Macbeth. Whatever. But it's interesting that they all have different maps completely. It's pretty cool, though, that they did actually have any at all. You can actually select the Landmaster, too, which you can't do in any other version, from what I understand on this. And then you can just fly around single player. But the music on OG is so good. The battle music is just perfect. And even though the multiplayer is simple on all these versions, it's very fun. Especially the 4v4 with an objective and everything in the new version of the game. It's very fun. But yeah, overall, that's all I have to say about these different ports. They're all fun. I like every version of Star Fox. No matter how many versions they make of Star Fox 64, they're all fun and enjoyable to play. But yeah, let me know what your favorite version is. The original, the 3DS version, or the new remake. If you've played every version, if you've only played one of the versions, just anything like that, let me know. Let me know what you think. And yeah, that's about all I have to say for this port report. It's actually a sequel to originally I compared 64 and 3DS because the new one didn't exist yet, but now it does. So here we are. Yeah, that's basically everything I had to talk about, and I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next video where I attempt to play the original Star Fox and the new Star Fox at the same time. Don't ask how I'm going to do that because I genuinely don't know, but I'm going to find a way. Catch you next time.